This is a Gary Fisher. It's a chromoly steel frame. I think it's TIG welded. You can see this stuff in here looks pretty awesome. This bike actually hasn't really seen all that much action, unfortunately. So I'm going to try to get this into a state at which we can begin going on some more rides with it. Things I don't like about this bike currently are it's got these cantilever brakes. I'm going to be putting some V brakes on because they stop a lot better. Also, as you can tell, the the brake cables here are really not doing so hot. So basically I'm just going to be replacing all these cables, all the housings, and trying to make this thing shift better. The other thing I'm going to be doing that I really don't like are these grip shifters, I guess is what you call them. I'd much rather use trigger shifters, so I'm going to be putting those on. And then the trigger shifters have the added benefit of incorporating the brake levers into them, so there won't be any need to have independent brake and shift components on here. So I'm going to be doing that. So those are my initial thoughts about this thing, and yeah, so now we'll cut to the action. Alright guys, it's been a few days since I've last come to this bike. I have been getting some parts for it. The biggest thing I think thus far is I'm getting a different fork because the old fork on here doesn't look like it's in that great a condition. Also, when I took off the whatever it's called that keeps these two things together, I noticed that they would rotate freely, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but the bike mechanics I was speaking to were telling me just replace it. So I was able to get this thing for 35 bucks. It's pretty light. It's also, I think, a lot more geared towards the V brakes that I will be installing on this thing. So I think this is a better move regardless. I've also got a new stem because I think that this thing on here looks kind of weird. I don't like it how it's like just a one bolt pattern design thing. So replacing the stem. Also got this at a bike thrift shop in Santa Fe. Trips for Kids. I love you guys. They're awesome. And yeah, so gonna be putting that on as well. And then once we do that, I was also gonna be taking off these cantilever brakes, and we're gonna be putting on some nice V brakes that I got. So have a little bit of work today to do, but nice start. And so what we're going to be doing next is, this is the bottom bearing, and you're going to try to, after I lube this up, we're going to try to get this thing to go in so that it's straight with the logo so it doesn't look weird. And then we're just going to do the same on the top, and yeah, hopefully it's pretty easy and straightforward. These parts cost a couple of dollars. I'm going to be using some marine grease just because it's water resistant, so you know, if you ride in the rain or water gets on it, hopefully this stuff will stay in there and continue to lubricate what needs to be lubricated. I will also be lubricating these bearings, but FSA did an interesting thing here, and they kind of have this little plastic retainer slash seal that is holding them in place, which is great because it's going to make my life easier when I try to actually press this on. So that's what we're going to be doing now, and stay tuned. So I've got the headset now installed, and I added some friction paste in here just so that we get a nice amount of grip between the stem and the actual seat or steer tube on the fork. I did almost cut this fork too short, but I got lucky enough to have just one little spacer up top, and that's able to help with this thing. So I will clean up this excess grease also once I give this bike like a final clean after I'm done with all the other stuff. So so far so good. Really happy with the way this new stem and headset look. I think that it's definitely a lot higher quality than the one that came out. I also picked up some new tires for it at the Recyclery in San Rafael. Really awesome shop. And so I've got some proper mountain bike tires I can put on this guy now. And they're both 2 inches in width, so that's going to be the front and the rear. So we're going to get those, and then probably going to put on a different seat. But today, main priority for me is probably going to be just putting on the actual trigger shifters, which I have right there. And then I'm going to be putting on the grips. And once we're done with that, I can install the brake levers front and rear, the V-brakes, and then also going to be installing the gear cables and gear cable housings for the front and the rear derailleurs. So definitely got my work cut out for me, but really happy with the progress we're making on this bike. I think the new fork is also really adding to it, really happy with it. And I'm really excited to get to kind of give this thing a little test ride too at some point. But right now, I can test ride it, but there is no gears or brakes, so I highly would not recommend that. So yeah, we'll see how this thing goes and keep you posted. give an update on this bike. I am currently struggling to fit these V brakes onto it. There's the pin right here, and there is a little hole in the fork there, but this post, or this pivot post right here, is not allowing the V brake to fully sit all the way down into this thing, which is making life very difficult right now for me. So I can't get the thing to sit all the way in, and that's a real bummer. Just trying to see if I can show it, but basically until I can get a different post put in here that lets this whole V brake actually sit flush against the frame like this one is, it's just going to end up bending this little post here, and I'm going to have to start all over again with replacing the V brake. So that is the current situation. I think I could maybe just, on this case, you know, we've got a disc brake right there, but this is not a disc wheel. The only other thing I can do right now is probably just wire up the front and rear derailleurs and get the cable housings cut to length for that. So that's something I can focus on. V-brakes or cantilever brakes that were previously on this bike to a disc brake setup. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to have better stopping power, and also I'm only going to be doing this on the front wheel because in this case this frame is a 90s Gary Fisher mountain bike. It does not have the mounts for the rear disc, which is totally fine because most of the stopping power is done on the front. So I'm just going to save some money, keep the frame, I love this frame, and stick a disc brake on this. I've already replaced the fork. The fork has mounts for it. I've also replaced this headset. And so now what I'm going to be doing is I've already unscrewed the Allen keys and pulled off the old disc brakes. And then these current brake levers on here are capable of handling the throw or the pull, the amount of pull needed for engaging mechanical disc brakes. So I got the parts, I've got a little caliper, mechanical, as well as the mounting hardware in this bag. So you can't really see it that well, but got the parts I need to actually put on a disc brake onto this fork. The other thing is going to be changing out this wheel because this wheel was meant for cantilevers or the V-brakes. In this case, we're going to be upgrading this to a different rim. So I also picked this up at the bike shop yesterday. It's a Mavic, some kind of Enduro. I'm not super well versed in these types of rims, but got a good deal because stickers are all messed up. It's already got a disc on it. 160 millimeters is the typical distance or the radius for these things, so or diameter, sorry. So that is what I've got here, and then I'm going to be putting on a new inner tube. Fortunately, this is a Presta. I really don't like straighters because I only use Prestas and I try to stay consistent. So now what I'm going to be doing is actually taking that rim off and putting on some tires and inner tubes. I'm also going to be replacing the tires on this thing so we've got proper mountain bike tires. These are some specialized Hardrock'r tires that I also picked up at the bike shop. So really excited to see how this thing turns out, and right now I'm just going to be focusing on getting these tires swapped, and then we'll focus on actually getting the disc brakes hooked up. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
Guys, this bike is looking mean. Holy cow. Oh my gosh. The tires really changed the look of this thing. Wow. I am, oh my gosh. It's so cool to see this come together. Got this, new disc front wheel on. I know the wheels don't match, I don't really care. But we got a disc brake now. I just need to mount the calipers and stuff, but wow. The tires really make this thing look like it can do anything. It's, honestly, this is really sick. I'm super happy to see this thing come together. Yeah, I'm gonna keep chugging away, but really happy so far. Alright guys, this is it, and oh my gosh, it's been so long and such a journey, but I'm really happy to see this thing 99% done. I really like how it turned out. I got this disc brake and front wheel that looks sick, the tires look sick, the fork looks sick, the stem looks sick, the headset looks cool. I just put on some magnesium pedals that I've had kicking around because I thought it would go with it, and threw on one of my Specialized saddles too because that is very comfortable for my ass. Anyways, but yeah, and then we've also upgraded the cantilever brakes in the back to V brakes. Cantilevers in the front have now been changed to a disc front, so that's a really great improvement. These tires are actually meant for doing off-road stuff, so really happy about that. Got these Presta tubes inside on both front and rear because I wanted to stick to Presta for all round. The actual crankset and cassette and derailleur back here, I didn't really need to do anything other than change cables, and yeah, and then we've also got some trigger shifters up here. Really huge improvement from the grip shifters where you just like rotate your hand. Thought that was ridiculous. Anyways, so we've got legit shifters, brakes, pedals, stem, and I think this thing is ready to hit the off-road, hit the dirt, and I'm really excited to see how this thing does and how it handles the rain too, because I think having a rain bike would be awesome. So one thing I'm going to note about this bike in its current state is that these V-brakes on the back are like a no-name, and I'm kind of not happy with the build quality on them. They just don't feel that good. Like, they don't pivot well and they don't have a good feel when you're like torquing stuff down. So I might upgrade these to some brand name like Tektro or whatever. Nothing high budget, but you know, small little details. And this front brake disc is insanely good. I'm really happy with it. I'm keeping the posts on because I was originally trying to do V-brakes on the front, but frankly, the upgrade from V-brakes to disc is like night and day. So definitely really happy with that. I used some white cable housing for my brake cables because I think it looks a lot cooler than you know, just the typical black stuff. So you know, got my little cable tie right here to help route that cable and prevent it from touching the wheel. And yeah, this is the bike. I just finished putting it all back together. I might just order a new set of V-brakes on Amazon or something just to get those in, swap it out. But all in all, this bike looks so much more mean. Looks like it can do a lot more off-roading stuff, and I'm really happy about it. And we'll see how these handlebars do. Some people have told me that I should probably do some risers on here, but I want to see how this works. And yeah, I just really like the look of this bike now. It looks so much more aggressive and capable of off-roading than the stuff that came off. So thank you all for watching, and stay tuned. Take care.